Well, this is going to be one of those interviews where you get complimented a lot. Are you okay with that?
Oh, love it. Sounds great.
Okay. Before I get to all the damn compliments, big match on Saturday. Tell me more about that. I assume you're excited?
Yeah, it's really, I don't think people realize the kind of culmination of like my Impact Wrestling career that this match really is. You know, TJP, I was undefeated for the first 4 months of my Impact Wrestling career. TJP shows up, embarrasses me in 2 minutes, then taps me out the next week. It was the most it was the hardest thing that happened to me. Of course, coming in super hot as a young rookie like that. And then I went on to find a great deal of success after that. Anyway, X Division Championship, rolling into the Slammiversary main event, the whole youngest world champion bit, which we have not forgotten about. And then tag title stuff. And then here we are now, full circle back around to where it all started for me, the X Division Championship against TJP, who the obstacle I haven't overcome yet.
Right. As you pointed out, you came in to Impact in a big way. You got vignettes. These days, very few people get the tease of the vignette of the coming soon. Big undefeated streak. We look at 2020. You were well into the top 100 of the PWI, top 500, won a couple of Impact awards. So what I'm getting at here is, when did you realize that you were right? That you didn't have to change to be anybody else. You didn't have to fit a mold or an archetype. You could just be Ace Austin, and that's going to work out fine.
That actually happened. There was, of course, many moments that happened, but it happened backstage at WWE when I did my 205 Live gig. The kind of low reaction that I got from the people that I impressed really kind of gave me the confidence that a 20-year-old needed to kind of go forward into the crazy world that professional wrestling is.
Yeah. You are naturally talented. These are my words, not your words. You're one of those people who could do a lot of different tricks or things. Like when an actor's going in auditions, you look at their CV and it says can sing, can act, can dance, has a clean driver's license. You're one of those people who can skateboard, you can do parkour. Do you say parkour or parkour? How do you say it?
Parkour.
Okay. The key is you can do that. Yeah. How much of this at this point in time is natural talent versus endless work ethic?
I think it's always been, you could argue that I have, natural talent just based off of you could argue that if you want, but to me, it's been endless work ethic since the beginning. There's never been a time in my life when I haven't been working towards this goal, working towards being the absolute best I can be. It's been that way forever. There was never a point where I was like, oh, I'm good at this, so I guess I should practice it. It was like, I want to do that, so I'm going to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And that's just always how that's always what I've done. When I picked up skateboarding, when I picked up the parkour, when I joined musical theater, when I started stage acting, when I took television classes and production, I learned how to make magic behind the camera before I learned how to step in front of it. So it was, to me, it's always been endless work ethic.
The few times I've had a pleasure of interacting with you or interviewing you, you were extremely nice and patient, all but one of the times. One of the times, you just didn't care, and that was the Ace Austin that we see on television. Is it a challenge for you to sometimes put the wall up and just not be the nicest person in the world?
Yeah, I guess kind of. I guess it depends on what I'm in the middle of. What I've got my mind on. When I have big things coming up, especially like this match on Saturday, it's like my mind. I really put myself on a one track, kind of mind to. I feel like that's the way that I've achieved all my goals, and that's just the kind of process I feel that I need to go through.
Sure. And do I have it correct that you're from way South Jersey?
No, I'm actually from a super small town in Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Ah,
Yeah, I was born in Reading, Pennsylvania, but I'm like from Robizonia. I went to Conroe High School, very super small town stuff. I'd never traveled outside the state until I went on a trip with like a friend of mine from school in like middle school. It was the first time I ever left the state was like Sea Isle City, New Jersey, I think.
wow.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever gone outside of the state.
So you've done many times more traveling in the last 4 years than your whole life combined.
Wrestled in almost 30 states, 4 countries, for well over 100 different promotions.
I wouldn't get that impression watching you on television. Maybe that's your musical theater background and working at Hot Topic and just talking to people and sitting under the learning tree per se. But wow. Well, did anyone from your high school ever kind of make it in any entertainment or sports field? If you have to think about it, the answer is probably going to be no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, like, I know some of my friends that are pursuing like music careers and they're doing pretty well, like releasing EPs and things like that, but nobody that's really blown up the way I have, I guess you could say. Yeah, I don't think so.
So the Ace Austin Hall of Fame wing of the high school will eventually have to happen. I look forward to that and the induction ceremony.
Me too.
And another great thing about the recent past is you've been getting high praise from a lot of industry veterans. Matt Cardona was recently talking about how much he wanted to work with you and how great you are. Is that flattering, or do you have to tell me, no, he's a jerk and I don't like him?
Of course it's flattering, like regardless of, I am Ace Austin out of necessity, because like in order to succeed in the way that I want to succeed, in order to be one of the best, I can't let these personal, feelings get in the way of that, and I guess that's what makes me a bad guy to some people, is because I refuse to let those things get in the way. Like I said, I have that one track mind of success at all costs. So of course there are moments, when I having a main event match against Tommy Dreamer in Mexico, everything I did with Eddie Edwards,
sure,
the Matt Cardona match, all of those things. Let's say 7, 8, 9 years ago, those were people that I was watching as a young man. Those were people that I was looking up to, that were inspiring me. So being where I'm at now, that's a deciding moment in like becoming a star or just being a pro wrestler, getting an opportunity. If you're just like a young aspiring wrestler getting an opportunity, you let the lights blind you. You let the stars, to blind you to what you need to do. And I don't let that happen. When I step into the ring, it's on. Anything that the young Austin, not Ace Austin, the young man Austin would have looked forward to, none of that matters anymore, because Ace Austin has to succeed at all costs.
Yeah, you always did come across as a student of the game in the best of possible ways. So kudos to you on saying, I want to do this, when you were a kid, and actually doing it and making it in your early 20s. And speaking of that, you recently had a birthday. My birthday's March 1st. Yours is February 28th. You and I both have that thing where had we been born, a year or two earlier, it would have been leap year. Do you think about that what would have happened if you were born on leap year?
Oh yeah, I always think about like how that would have been almost a really good like wrestling gimmick to play off of.
Yeah,
like only aging every 4 years or whatever. Like that'd be really funny. But March 1st is actually a really special date for me. It was my first time experiencing indie wrestling in any form. That was when I got into wrestling. It was I was 16 and I was trying to like figure out a wrestling school situation. So I had been saving money to move to Florida to go to the Wild Samoan school in Florida because I didn't know about the one in Pennsylvania. And my boss at the top actually met someone that trained in Allentown, Pennsylvania with Samoans, got her information, called me, whenever we exchanged information, and I found out about this place only like an hour and 15 minutes from where I grew up in Pennsylvania. And so I used the money that I saved up to move to pay for wrestling school, there. But my first time ever doing anything was March 1st, 2014. So in Pennsylvania, the law was that I couldn't start training until I was 17 with parental consent. So I turned 17 the day before March 1st of 2014. So that was my first time like showing up and experiencing indie wrestling and meeting Samu, my trainer, and getting my foot in the door.
I'm glad that you didn't say that March 1st was of significance because it was Justin Bieber's birthday, because had you said that yeah, exactly. That would have been a little off brand. So I've got 3 quick questions and then you're a free man. And the first one is, who is Ace Austin's favorite band of all time, if there is such a thing?
Guns N' Roses.
Wow. Are you a Chinese Democracy guy or just the old stuff?
Chinese Democracy is great, but definitely the old stuff. I just don't. I find myself never getting tired of Guns N' Roses. I never find myself skipping a Guns N' Roses song when it comes on.
Great answer. Second question: favorite TV show of the moment that you can recommend to somebody who needs a new show to start?
Favorite TV show of the moment.
And it could be 10 years old. I only started watching Community like a month ago.
Okay, well, something we just recently watched. I just finished. I just watched WandaVision with the rest of the world, and that was great. Anything they're doing on Disney Plus is awesome. Mandalorian, all that stuff is great. The Good Place on Netflix.
Great show.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very underrated. And I'm 2 episodes into Game of Thrones. I've never watched any of it, so I just started Game of Thrones.
Good Place has a lot of hidden wrestling references. You notice that in there?
I just started rewatching. I've seen pretty much all of Psych, but like in the morning when I'm like making my breakfast, I'll put Psych on the TV because like I just love having that. I love that show so much, and it's a great thing to put on the background while you're doing stuff. So I just started like rewatching all the Psych episodes, and there are so many wrestling references in those in that too. So Psych is. Yeah, if you don't watch Psych, please check that out.
I'm gonna get started on that one eventually. And the closer, Ace. Any last words for the kids?
For the kids. Well, if we're talking to the kids, I'm not going to say anything, mean and nasty. I'm just going to say that an endless work ethic will create an inevitable future of success.
Hence, inevitable Ace Austin.
Bingo.
Best of luck on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing everything that's coming from you in the near future, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Paltrocast.